And now you kind of have to think about it, but it looks like we're off.
I think one of the longest swordless games I've ever seen. Wait a second, was that Flippers I saw on the links?
Blue Mail. That was
Blue Mail. I saw that wrong. It's Blue Mail. Okay. But one of the longest swordless seeds I've ever seen in terms of before the first sword showed up was on about an hour and 33 minutes. I think was the first sword. That was a regular 4-sword available seed, and that was just that long ago sword. So it'd be nice to see one that goes maybe in not that long, but 45 minutes to an hour. By the way, we had a map check. We had 2 vanilla pendants in terms of being in the light world. One was at Eastern Palace, and the green one I think was at Tower of Hera. We had a crystal at Desert Palace.
So, I do have a question. Did they swap sprites on purpose?
I just noticed that. Yeah, that's a good question. I'd have to check the SRL channel to see if they planned this.
Because, Bonta was definitely Mog early. We might want to make sure that we're actually capturing the right place. They did. That's amazing. Oh, GG.
They literally did. Bonta was Mog earlier, and the lane was Shy Guy. That is confirmed. They're on the same size. We haven't moved them.
I love these two. It's definitely friendly competition, and that's some of the best part. So we are getting, honestly, we're getting similar routing from before.
Oh, Lamp in the Lost Woods. That's a very early pickup.
Now, getting an early lamp is going to be good for a lot of these dark room checks early, going into the. Wait, what?
You gotta be kidding me! That was at the same place in both seeds. The hammer was at that exact spot in both seeds, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly where it was last time. But you notice that so is the lane about to do the same thing that he did last time and go and check? Okay, he's not. He's actually going to be going into Kakariko this time. Last time he save and quit from there and went to the escape. So now he's going to go ahead and go in. Maybe it was because he didn't have bombs last time. That might have been the
It might have been bombs. I know the first bomb showed up from a guard kill on one side in the last race. So bombs definitely would be an issue in terms of what checks you make, and he has lots of bombs now, so doing the Kakariko check will get you a lot more items. There's a Quake Medallion, by the way. Big 20, a sword, and there goes your Swordless Hope, another big 20, so 40 rupees in that area. And the back of Blind Set, we have the Power Glove. So yeah, they already had the hammer. I don't know why we need to give him a sword. We're making it way too easy for him, eh?
Yeah, and on top of that, we're also, we're basically one item away from either Aga or our Dark World access. We need the Moon Pearl for full Dark World access, and we need the second sword or our cape for Aga access. So the famed Moon Pearl on Pyramid could happen, but I have a feeling this seed's about to prove me wrong in 2 seconds and be like, hey, look, here's a Moon Pearl right in Kakariko. So
yeah, right here at the bottom of the well. Meanwhile, Bonta is now playing with power, if you get the old reference. And the lane has proven that the Moon Pearl was not in the well.
That was an awful well. That was a skippable well.
Both the well last seed was just as bad. So yeah, both wells were pretty bad today.
And the world's most expensive bombs. Well, I guess you could technically pay 500 from Zora.
Yeah, I've seen that. We're getting the chicken hut from the lane meanwhile. And he goes up to the chest and finds 300 bucks. Well, that's going to help with Zora.
You know, you asked me this question earlier, and I said not Ice Rod, and I wanted a late sword. I didn't get my wish. What are you hoping they have a long time to find?
Let's say Fire Rod.
Fire Rod,
That unlocks Mothla. It can unlock Ice Palace. It can be a fire source for Desert Palace, except they already have the lamp. So that's an item I'd like to see hard to find. And I think Bonta did pick up the lamp, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see it marked on the tracker.
Yes. I highly doubt that they would have just skipped that. There's really no reason to do that. I missed what was on the actual library there. It was just 20 rupees, so nothing there. But we are going in, and we're not even going to check what's in the race game. We're going to actually just go straight there, probably save and quit if it's nothing. Really, right now, it's kind of just a Bonta following Thalane in the footsteps. Gonna end up grabbing that heart. Not a bad move with still only being at 4 hearts. Even with well, okay, the lane has not picked up blue mail yet, so that's actually got a little bit to do with it. They're just, well, they're gonna be going to.
He hasn't been to his house yet, basically.
And then they went to, oh, the back of escape. Okay, because they did get the key from the actual sanctuary chest, so they can actually go check the dark tea chest and get that out of the way too, and then come back in from the front once they go to Link's house. But really, hey, there's your wish. Absolutely not granted. Wow. So yeah, both of us apparently are not witches today. We've lost all of our magic. So, but easy mode coming through the back of this dungeon. In all honesty, they've got a sword, they've got hammer. I mean, they're going to be cruising all the way over to this chest, saving, probably going back to Link's house, and then doing South Shore, if not escape.
They're finding all the very convenient items already here, except for flippers, which were hard to find last game. I have a feeling they're going to be hard to find this game because we seem to have a theme going on here with items in the same places. This might be in the big key chest of Turtle Rock this time. So we'll see.
You know, he almost walked right out of Link's house, getting his blue mail. That's funny.
I realized all of a sudden he didn't open that chest yet at 6.5 minutes into the race.
Are we going to have our first divergence? Is Bonta going to go south? Yes. So the lane's going up through escape. Bonta last time did not do escape, so until late. So we're seeing a slightly different play. Bonta went early to Uncle and this the Uncle's chest over here. So we're kind of seeing a similar play here. Is it going to play out differently?
So looking at the dam, we have a heart. It was a regular heart, not the Saint heart. So that's one item in the dam. We have one more when we flood the dam and get the water out of the outside area.
Vanilla stun prize. Good old single rupee from hitting him with a boomerang.
Boo.
And props to Bonta for getting the one frame chest turn. Those are always fun to see, and as a, I don't know, I like to call myself a nerd. As a nerd, knowing that that's something you can do, I'm just like, yeah, you got the chest turn.
Yeah, I feel you on there on being a nerd in the same way. We had bombs in the flooded dam area, by the way. We're going to get to Mini Moldorm Cave right now on Bonta's side as the lane heads downstairs to check the first chest down there. Let's see what's in that chest before we figure out what's behind these 4 Mini Moldorm. The Cane of Samaria. It's gotta be Cane. And I'm not going to do it the meme way. So in the back of Mini Moldorm Cave, we have the Moon Pearl.
It was there.
Almost skipped chest number 2. Bottle, $5. Heart piece, $5.
So they have Dark World access. I have a feeling that Bonta's going to run over to Ice Rod and then probably save and quit right back to Link's house and roll right on over to Hype Cave.
That's what I would do. It seems like a good play at this point.
Ooh, almost walked through that door without that key.
And once he gets over to Hype Cave, he can probably save and quit again, go to Sanctuary, and just make his way over to Village of Outcasts then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now, that Cane of Samaria is a very critical item. We're going to need it. We're without a doubt going to need it. There's no possibility of it not being required this time around because 2 pendants are in Light World and 2 of the Dark World dungeons require the Cane of Samaria. He's really going for the chest turn every time.
Yeah, he almost seems to be skipping chests all the time here because it just costs time to do that. I would just open them normally and move on. So Bonta heading back towards the Kakariko village. But with the Dark World access, he's probably heading, as I said, right over to Village of Outcasts. The lane is just checking the dam area right now. And yeah, now that we know the King of Samaria was in Escape, I hope, like Bonta, if you recall in the previous run, he's just checking Sick Kid for his Master Sword right now, which I don't think the lane picked up yet because he doesn't have a bottle. So the lane might want to get that bottle and get to Sick Kid eventually. But we're going back to the previous seed. Bonta did have a late check of Hyrule Castle as well. If he were to repeat that this seed, that King of Samaria might be really hard for him to find in this seed, just like the boots up on Catfish were last seed. And actually, speaking of Catfish, let's see how quickly Bonta puts off Catfish this time.
I was actually gonna say that earlier. Is he going to wait Catfish more so this time because of what it did last time? And it's something that a lot of us as runners have done, where we've played 2 seeds in a row, and we're like, I'm not forgetting that again, and it's nothing the next time. So can he separate that? But Thalane's getting his Dark World access now with getting the bottle as well as his Moon Pearl. Funny enough, the bottle leads to the item you need to get to Aga. So oddly enough, but we are getting an early check of Skull Woods because we do have the Fire Rod. We got a map check actually.
Yeah, in the category of common themes, Turtle Rock is still a pendant.
Interesting. In the 5 and 6 crystals were actually Mire and right here, Skull Woods. So, and Hera being green pendant, they can't exactly do Hera right now. They can't get to it. They need either Hookshot or Mirror. So,
Bonta, meanwhile, is going to the back, I think, of Skull Woods. He can take on Mothra now if he wishes to. He does have that Fire Rod.
You know, I'm kind of surprised that... You know, I wonder if the lane's going to do this. A common play is to go ahead and get that save and quit spot up on the mountain.
He can do it. He has access to it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, you're going to get only 2 items from that, but getting the save and quit spot if you don't find the...
2 items and a hint, actually. There could be a useful hint back there, too.
Yeah, and I mean, one of them could be the mirror, one of them... I mean, it could be anything, any amount of stuff, but it looks like they're going to be switching places. The lane actually kind of has a lead when it comes to items, because the lane has that really important Can of Samaria that allows for the clearing of Misery Mire once we find the flute and once we find the mitts, and it also just frankly it's just one of those things that you never want to be without. It's going to make Skull Woods a lot easier for the lane because they don't have to pull that the statue and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of critical that Bonta needs to go to the escape, which I'm really hoping Bonta doesn't wait going to does the catfish play, thinking, oh, I'm not gonna let this get me this time, and then misses Hyrule Castle because of that same reason, and then it in reverse bites them. I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
And meanwhile, the lane picks up his Master Sword from a kid who really shouldn't be playing with things so precious and legendary. Bonta is, as I prophesized, going to the back of Skull Woods and dealing with Mothula. The lane getting his own map check-in and confirming where all of the belongings that he needs to pick up are located. And Bonta starts his Mothula fight. Master Sword not going to be as easy as the Gold Sword fight he had in the first seed. So takes the first couple of swings, decides to get the hammer out. Much more compatible as a weapon in this scenario, but he's still using the sword swing where he can. So both options are available to him as he needs them. There's another hammer swing. There's another hammer swing. Got 3 hammer swings in and got a nice kill there. So Mothula today drops the compass. And that's the first crystal.
And it's a 5/6. So once we get the ability to get to Misery Mire, we'll be able to go check out the Pyramid Fairy. Now, I doubt that's going to be anytime soon because there's a lot of pieces missing for that. Now, to mention, we don't have any items in Skull Woods yet, so we're going to have to go check this item that's down here under the bridge, as well as probably we're going to go back to the front too. There's literally, anywhere that it could be, there's 4 other spots to check.
So Bonta's going to check the chest location that he did not check yet, which is the key. And that's not what he wanted to see, so... Did he pick up the big key while he was here? I don't know if he did.
Nope. It was a map, a compass, and a small key.
Ooh.
Now, both runners are doing something that is common to do when you start with the fire rod. If you're not looking for an item coming into Skull Woods to full clear it, you're going to go check that one pain chest where you've got to dodge the squids and the Gibdos, and then you're going to go from back to front in Skull Woods because it's actually a lot faster if both items are in the back and you're literally not having to waste any time. Even if there aren't the items in the back, you're going to be doing the same clearing you would have done anyway. So
Yeah.
it's just a time save.
In some cases, not in every case, because sometimes it's a long walk either way, but in some cases it's huge time save because you know you're going to kill the boss anyway. You know that you're going to come out an entrance very close to that boss. Why not just go back later and get the other chests if you know you still need them? Like, in theory, you could skip a chest or two in other dungeons doing the same thing that are near the entrance and just try and get them later. But depending on the dungeons, that can be risky as well. While it is quicker in some cases, like with Mothula, in a case like Eastern Palace, you're not going to skip to Armos and then go back through Eastern Palace. It wouldn't work that way.
Exactly. The main reason why it works for Skull Woods is it's 2 entrances. You've got, multiple entrances, but it's got 2 main areas. You've got the front area that's got those chests, and then you got the back area that's got the boss. So now, I do want to go ahead and mention while we're here, this is actually being simulcast on 3 different channels with Speed Gaming. There's the Speed Gaming German and the Speed Gaming French. I do not want to actually say the names because I will butcher them. I am going to avoid those, but they are respectively named by their individual languages. You can go to Speed Gaming there, as well as seeing it in chat. As well as here in English with myself, Unknown Availability, and Cyclone. So I'm telling you, Bonta's going for those chest turns every time. I love it. It's amusing to me to just watch it happen over and over again. Now,
I'll go ahead and I'll throw in the note on the other commentaries here. We have Pipo on tour and Tali doing the duty on the German. I'm going to recheck the French one right now.
Wonderful.
French one, we have Aselpio's Rod and Scary Olive doing things on the French channel. So feel free to follow those 4 wonderful people as well. Lemmy is actually doing the tracking for all of the channels here. We have one tracker for all 3 channels here, same tracker. So he's doing tracking for all these races today. Give him a huge thank you as well. He did commentary in the last race as well.
Yes, thank you very much to the thankless job of tracking. It is never it's never more appreciated than have somebody who is paying as much attention as the trackers, because they keep us honest and keep everybody informed. So, and good news is we have the hammer, at least for Thieves Town, so we don't have to worry about that big chest getting us today.
I'm a little disappointed it was the same easy spot, but they have it.
Yeah, and somebody mentioned PRNG earlier, and honestly, that would not apply here because these were made an hour, if not more, apart. So
that's correct. So I can confirm because I actually generated both seeds. I can confirm that I made the first one immediately before that race, and then the last one I made, I followed our fall tournament rules and made the seed literally less than 5 minutes before the race was scheduled to start. So when they started this race, you saw what happened 5 minutes after the seed was generated. So these were generated more than an hour apart, and the new site actually is not supposed to take the same kind of thing that you were talking about that the old site had possible on it, apparently. We're getting bombs in the tree pole, by the way. So what chat might have been referring to is that you were referring to shouldn't even exist on the site anymore, and it should not be possible. It's just random chance that the hammer ran up at the same location. If you consider, while not all 216 item locations can come into play for the hammer most of the time, in fact, probably not even at all, to be honest. If you assume even let's say 1 in 150, and then multiply that and say, okay, put it in that same location out of those same 150 locations, you've got one heck of a fraction out of that. It's very, very rare for that to happen, and that's why I was so surprised to see it happen myself.
Of course.
It is completely random.
Yeah, and the thing to keep in mind about something like the hammer is a unique item that is pretty much required every game. It is required every game. So the thing about hammer is Oh, that's a good hint to get. Mimic Cave.
Yeah, that is.
Mimic Cave is off the board, so we know that is one mirror location that's safe. Now, the thing about Hammer is it's got a weighted percentage if you think about it, because that is one of the hard requirements, or at least one of them, that you need to get out of two different requirements to get into Dark World. So, on top of the fact it's also hard required for a lot of dungeons, there's a lot needed that the hammer just covers. So, it's gonna be early, if not halfway through. Hardly ever is it going to be later on that you're going to be looking for the hammer. Now, there is that 1 out of a million, please don't quote my percentages. There's that one out of a bunch shot that it's in the Pyramid Fairy, where you have to beat Aga in order to get to Pyramid Fairy to get the hammer, which is just wow. That's wild. Yeah, none require only hammer to complete, but there's a lot of hard requirements for hammer. Hammer is just something that a lot of dungeons need. 3 out of the 10 that we have. So.
And someday I want to see that hammer in Pyramid Fairy. I've seen in the time that I've been commentating, I've only been commentating for about, I want to say about 2 months or so, maybe slightly longer. But in all the time, one of those things I've been wanting to see is hammer at Pyramid Fairy, just because that's such an awful thing to see, and it makes for good interview material, needless to say. But Pyramid Fairy has come up a lot just in the time that I've been commentating. Like, you would think, okay, what are the odds that we're going to have required access to there? But as soon as you see, for example, in a seed that you have required dungeons for 5-6 crystals being Skull Woods and Thieves Town, the first thing I think about is, oh my god, it's Pyramid Fairy. And that's the first thing that I think about. Pyramid Fairy could have something in this, because it doesn't take a lot to get in those dungeons. Whereas if Turtle Rock was a 5-6 crystal, you're probably not going to be having visit Pyramid Fairy likely, unless something really awful ends up lined up.
Exactly. All too often, you'll see Thieves Town and Skull Woods with an early fire rod, and you're just like, well, that's Pyramid Fairy, so.
Yeah. Or it could be an early bow, and the 5-6 crystals are both the bow dungeons. Like, anything like that, you have to immediately consider Pyramid Fairy as a possibility if you have potential access to it 20 minutes into the race.
All right, so we have our second crystal dungeon down. Bonza does have Blind defeated. Nothing in Thieves Town, really. Bombos was there, but we don't know if we need that yet. Wasn't required for Ice Palace since we already found the Fire Rod, so really, and we don't even have access to Ice Palace anyway right now, so we're going to get the dig game check. We're going to get the South Dark World checks with Stumpy. Probably going to head on over to the Hype Cave after this. I'm very interested that neither one of these fellas went over to Hype Cave right away. Usually that's like something people check right away. I guess Hype Cave has trolled too many people. They're just like, we're not doing it anymore. Y'all can keep it.
Yeah, very often nowadays, Hype Cave turns into White Cave in terms of there's not really much there. Just wipe the floor with it and move on. So we're going to find out momentarily, because I think Bonta will be heading over there soon. He doesn't have the mirror, so he can't check the mirror checks along the way. Neither runner, of course, has the mirror at this point, so neither can do that. The mirror is still outstanding. He is going to make the Stumpy check, though, as he is walking by that downward-pointing arrow right now. Why there's a downward-pointing arrow in bushes, I don't know. Nintendo just likes to do things like that. There's some bombs off the Stumpy. That's not worth the investment of time. So, yeah, probably heading over right now.
Yeah, the next play is definitely Hype Cave. Really, from here, if Hype Cave doesn't hold anything, they can go into Pod and do quite a bit. I doubt Pod's bow locked at this point. They haven't done anything over in the Eastern Palace area, so that's probably a play. Bonta's probably going to be heading to Hyrule Castle sooner rather than later if nothing is here in Hype Cave. So
I'm gonna say the flute's probably in here. I can see them see that leading to an early Misery Mire, possibly. That'd be interesting. Half Magic is here. There's a shield.
Wow.
There's some red mayo.
That's quality of life.
Rate this hype.
Okay, I'm going to give it 2 ratings, and here's why. First of all, I'm going to give it the quality of life rating for the everybody, and then I'm going to give it the for these runners rating. The quality of life rating, that gets about a 6 out of 10. It's safeties. it's a bunch of stuff that even the best runners are like, okay, I can walk around and walk through stuff now. So, yeah, but for these runners, they're probably like, great, that was no progression. There was absolutely nothing that helps them there. They want things that give them direction. He wanted a bow. He wanted a mirror. He wanted hook shot. He wants something that gives him a definitive answer of where he needs to go. So, yeah, 2 for these runners, 6 for everybody.
So we're gonna probably get a very quick answer to my earlier question of will Bonta put off Catfish this time? At this point, I think it's on Catfish.
Go north. He's going north. Yeah,
he's going straight there. Not even thinking about it this time. Just heading straight up there. Once you burn him once, he doesn't want to be burned again.
I'm gonna tell you right now, though. I'm actually I think it's on Death Mountain. I think it's in Death Mountain.
It could. Well, they have one of those 2 locations. Yeah, it could be.
They have Death Mountain access. They do have. They also have access to Zora. Even though they don't have the money right now, thalane does, but Bonta doesn't. So Zora could have something and could just be getting something like the bow. They have not been to Eastern Palace area. They haven't checked Sahashwala. So that's a very important thing. That's a lot of locations over there. 6 total items, 3.
Well, I'm going to double down here. I'm thinking the flute is the next time because it's going to lead to Misery Mire. So it's probably going to be right here on Catfish if we know our luck here. Bonta will be very happy if we get something nice. Unless the flute looks like a red 20 rupee collectible, I'm going to say I'm wrong on that. But I was really hoping it was something up here just to redeem himself for checking it this time.
So we're going to blame Catfish we're going to actually call Catfish blind this time. He thought that was the boots because they're both red. So, he wanted the boots again, but he's like, all right, I'm going to grab these instead. It's red, but, he's going to Death Mountain. He's going to get that save. And go ahead and check these 2 item spots. I don't blame him at all. I do hope that Bonta heads over to Hyrule Castle sooner rather than later, because if there is the access up here that, I mean, let's just say it's the party package up here and he gets hookshot and gloves, that would actually be bad, because that cane, chances are we have the access to Turtle Rock that we need. We have a very high percentage with having 2 of the medallions. The chances of it being Ether on Turtle Rock are slim, possible, but slim. So
I'd like to see a mirror and a heart myself.
Yeah, a mirror would be nice. I was about to say, is it going to be vanilla? That would be hilarious. But we're going to get to see at least what's on top. So there's going to be information. Is it going to be hookshot? Because I've seen that happen a lot, where the hookshot's sitting on top of Spectacle Rock and you're just begging for the mirror the whole time.
And that's one of those cases where you're just like, game, did you have to do this? Really? Come on. Why?
I love knowledge, but at the same time, I want to scream every time.
We did see a heart on top of Spectacle Rock there, full heart container. So Bonta is going to hop into the Spectacle Rock cave, hopping down that ledge, going to climb up. Runners used to just check this item, and some still do. But a lot of runners now see the value of the hint that is behind that 20 rupee collectible they would otherwise skip. So they're going to pick up the 20 rupees, and they're going to click on the hint. They're going to say, some cash is helping with a roughy fish. From Bonta's perspective, he should just throw a bomb at that hint tile right now and say, get out of here!
That's amazing. Oh, man. I feel so bad for Bonta. Not only do they get burned by the... half magic and cape, that puts Spike Cave into logic. Good call by Bonta.
It does. Good thinking.
That's great thinking. I don't know what they had a B in that bottle, I think, or it was empty. Never mind. So they're going to be able to do this entire thing.
It's very tight, but yeah, he can do it. The half magic should do it.
Oh no, it's not going to be tight at all. He's fine.
Okay, maybe not as tight as I thought. 6 targets with only 4 actives. Yeah, lots of room. Not much in there.
Yeah, wow, man. So, by the way, that was literally 320 rupees in all 3 of those spots. that was That was
Well,
repetitious.
So much for our progression. I think it's off to Eastern Palace because that seems to be where Bonta's going, and I was just thinking that's all we have left. I think, except maybe Palace of Darkness could be going there.
Yes. At this point, we've got the Eastern Palace area. We've got Pod, and for Bonta, he also has the Hyrule Castle. So we know what's there, but for Bonta, I wonder if he's got that in the back of his mind. Maybe I should go back that way. So are we going to get something that's just going to basically lead us to a couple more spots, maybe like boots or hookshot?
Or the hookshot, that would lead to a couple more spots.
And not even going into Eastern Palace. I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Save it for later when you go to Pod. I agree with that.
Yeah, and on top of that, they did go up to Death Mountain, so they have that save. They can go up here. They can do the spots over here. There's quite a few items in the form of Paradox Cave. So yeah, but we do have our first major diversions here. The lane is going into Pod to see if we are bow locked. If we're bow locked, then we know for a fact that Pod isn't the play either. Now we have definitive proof there was something. Oh wow, he made it through there.
Yep.
What?
Whoa!
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Titan's Mitt in the first chest and of a now bow-locked Palace of Darkness. That was not what we were expecting in that location.
I'm broken. That's wow, man. Mitts and so Pod was a play. Here's the funny thing. He still has to come over here. He literally is forced to come to this location. This is, other than Zora, like the last location for the lane to go to.
And he's going to get the hook shot too, so Bonta literally just missed out on the Titan's Mitt. Has no idea it's in Palace of Darkness. And I just kind of mentioned this about a minute ago, he's trying to put off doing until he gets to the point that he needs to do both dungeons at once. He wants to do Palace of Darkness and then go back to Eastern Palace if he needs progress at that point. So he's trying to put off both dungeons as long as he can. He's not going to be back there until he runs out of things to do, which may not be very long, but we don't know yet. We're going to find out later.
This is actually really rough for Bonta.
Yeah, it is.
They're going to be missing a lot of locations here. In the form of they're not going to get Super Bunny Cave. They're not going to be able to see the knowledge of Turtle Rock. They wouldn't even be able to go into Turtle Rock anyway, because they don't have the King of Samaria, as well as like that's just a lot of missed stuff. Now we are going to get our Tower of Hera check, so we don't have to worry about the basement quite yet until we see that key. The big key being right there is really nice. But Thalane's choice to go to Pod first. That again, that's Rando being Rando. That's Rando being Rando. It could have just as easily been a 20 or nothing.
There's your ice rod.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Bonta just got a hint confirming that he is the hero of Hyrule. Thanks, game.
So, with finding the ice rod, is TR going to hold answers?
It's a pendant. I would say it does. I've already seen some themes staying with this seed from the previous seed, and again, there's no way this could happen. It's completely random. But when we already had the hammer show up in this exact same spot. Thank you for the hint about Dodongo, who is not in this game. That's a green hint. Obviously, it's a joke hint. But, yeah, from the fact that we already have the hammer in the same spot, from the fact that we have a pendant Turtle Rock in both seeds, the first and second one, from the fact that we have another pendant, Eastern Palace was the pendant in both seeds, I'm going to say Turtle Rock. The only thing that's different from that, by the way, is that Tower of Hera is now a pendant, whereas it was Palace of Darkness last seed. Yeah. So I'm ready to say that if we're going to stick with the fact that several themes have already repeated, I'm going to say Pendant Turtle Rock has something. And I'm going to double down and say the flippers are up there again.
That'd be very interesting. Oh, getting Troll Dorm's gonna troll. At least it wasn't the middle one. Gonna go right back in and try that again. Trying to do the hammer hits. It's gonna be 3 quick hits with that hammer to clear out Moldorm to get the green pendant. Now, I'm so this is something that's kind of interesting to think about. It's time for everybody's favorite game of what's on pedestal. So things that can be on pedestal right now.
Couch Cash.
That is one of them. Another one, flippers. Another one, flute. Another one, boots. Required for Desert Palace. Another one, it could also be the required medallion for Misery Mire. It could also be the book, which could also be required for Desert Palace, if the mirror is in Desert Palace. Right now, everything we don't have could pretty much be on pedestal except for bow.
Yeah, like, I'm just going to say, if we want to talk about things that can't be on pedestal, here's what can't be on pedestal. Bow.
Yeah.
And just end scene.
Yep, end scene. I wanted to make it more dramatic and just start talking about everything it could be and then just be like, and the one thing it can't be is the one thing it would have made this statement a lot smaller. So, mirror on ped would be mean. I completely agree with that. So, the one thing that's funny, though, is that they got a hint about mirror. Well, I say about mirror, but telling us that Mimic Cave is not required.
I thought you meant about the mirror itself. Yeah, we know Mimic Cave is not required because there's some cash in Mimic Cave. That's what you're referring to. Of course, the mirror itself is still outstanding. We don't know where that is yet. So Bonta is heading back towards the Eastern Palace area, and I wonder if he's just going to go into Eastern Palace this time because he skipped this area and just thinking about the fact that he missed this before. Yeah, he's going to Eastern Palace. He's not even thinking about Palace of Darkness yet, and we know the Titans of it is in Palace of Darkness. I could just see him hurling at that one.
I'm that's a rough spot for that to be, and unfortunately, like the midst, yeah, it does kind of gate quite a bit, but he's got to go somewhere, you know, and really.
By the way, we saw the Sahasrarel item, it was just money.
Yeah, it was 5 rupees. Woohoo. We we can buy Hyrulean gum at the store now. So
that's a good flavor.
So does do the pendant dungeon. Well, I mean, Hera held nothing, actually. Hera was completely useless unless
garbage.
pedestal.
Yeah, the pedestal would be the only hope, and there's so many items left that could be on the pedestal that we don't know. We don't know there's so many things that could be there. We have no idea what specific item could be there. So any one of those items could be locking access to the other dungeons, and those other items could be in those other dungeons. So we can't get anywhere inside Palace of Darkness except for that first chest. We know it's a Titan's Pit. If we don't have anything in Eastern Palace, is there really anything else left to check aside from finishing the pendant dungeons and checking the pedestal?
Really, Turtle Rock's got a lot of stuff. Going independent dungeons is the answer.
And at this point, they have 2 medallions. The odds are, there's your mirror.
Mm-hmm.
The odds are at this point, I was going to say the odds are at this point that Turtle Rock probably has to be visited earlier rather than later, but now that Bonta has found the mirror, I don't think he's going to be doing that quite yet.
So here's something interesting here to put some thought into this. Bonta just found the mirror independent Eastern Palace. He's going to full clear Eastern Palace as far as he can go until he can't go any further. There's no reason not to. So,
which means all but one location.
Pretty much. Unless the bow is here. So the bow could very well just be in its vanilla location.
Still doing the quick turn thing there too on the chests. Here's a hint. A unique item is in the Lost Woods. Thanks, game.
And just as a matter of fact, just to let you know, game, that's the same unique item that was in Lost Woods the last time. Thanks.
Yeah, the best thing to do with that tile would have been to get out that unique item and pound the tile with that unique item, but that would waste.
Yeah, that's what you do in crowd control races.
Pretty much.
Thalane's going through the Tower of Hera right now, giving us the. Oh, he was having some menu in trouble there, but
We're being corrected, by the way. 2 unique items in Lost Woods. The lamp was there too.
who counts the lamp?
That's a unique item.
It's only unique because it wants to be. That's it. Fire rod's better. All right, so we're going back.
Key.
Oh yeah, Vanilla Big Key. Is it going to be Vanilla Bow? That would be really interesting.
That would be disgusting at this point. Nope, not Vanilla Bow. Out he goes. Did he, was there still a dungeon item outstanding? So he might not even have to come back here?
There was. There was one outstanding.
Well, unless the pass was required, he won't be back here.
Pretty much, which is unfortunate because it's going to be either last item or, which that would be kind of rude. Somebody in chat just mentioned, which is HM Music. Could you imagine? And he's going to go pod. Good play, Bonta going in. And, yeah. Okay,
he's
so
this places to go. He has to.
The one thing is though is Bonta's also going to be pigeonholed to go into Hyrule Castle. There's no other option. Because like he needs the next play is Turtle Rock. There's no yeah, actually Turtle Rock. That's it. Turtle Rock is the next play.
It pretty much is at this point.
Unless you're going to sequence break. If you want to sequence break, then yes, there is other options. Well, okay, so there's two.
Yeah, Ice Palace will be a sequence break. That's what you're referring to, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, Ice Palace is a sequence break, but there are other plays, other spots that are like one of locations that are really like hard, that just silly to go to right now. One, Graveyard Ledge. That's really goofy. He's going to be able to do Smith Chain. That is true as well.
I was just thinking to mention that. Yeah.
They also see Smith Chain might actually be a good idea. Because Smith Chain, you can also do the South of Grove, which is Cave 45. So, I mean, to Bonta,
that was the hook shot in the first seed, I believe.
Yeah, so to Bonta, that might be the play. Because Hyrule Castle holds what we know to be Turtle Rock access. Now, Thalane is going through Super Bunny Cave. I missed, it was Quake for Turtle Rock, so we have access to Turtle Rock. And he is going to go ahead and do Super Bunny Cave as well. So, that's not a bad play. I forgot Super Bunny Cave was a check that needed to be done. I was thinking that Thalane already did that, but Thalane doesn't have the mirror to be able to go check Hera. So, Hera first, come down, do Spiral Cave. And we're going to get Hookshot Cave now. So we kind of flipped back again where Bonta's now following in Thalane's footsteps, where Thalane was following in Bonta's footsteps.
Meanwhile, in Hookshot Cave, the items include a full heart container. There are 3 more items now that one you could get to with the boots if you want to. There's the flippers, so not the Turtle Rock Dream, but very close. There's your Ether Medallion, which we may or may not need. We'll find out later. And there's some sticks.
Okay. So we are down to pretty much, I mean, we're still...
By the way, that opens up Ice Palace in Logic now.
Yeah, Ice Palace is in Logic. I was going to say the Swamp Palace is in Logic too.
Yep.
Which I can see...
Wow! Now keep in mind, the lane had not been to Eastern Palace yet. So for him, that is a fantastic hint. But for us, it's like, you didn't say.
That is... Whoa, man. That is a savior for Thalane. The hint coming in and saving... Oh, man. So, here's this. If Bonta decides to open up Turtle Rock and checks that hint...
We might see some rage.
Well, maybe not rage, but he's going to realize... He's going to realize that Thalane's going to see that.
Yeah.
Like, Thalane's going to see that. So, his advantage of having that item, the mirror in Eastern Palace, that play that he made, is now negated. So he obviously knew. I don't know why he checked that. If he wasn't going to go in, I don't know why he checked that. You have all 3 medallions.
There's your flute, by the way.
A flute is in Turtle Rock. Okay, so right now, we are possible boots and bow from Go Mode. So the flute was in Turtle Rock, over on the fire rod side. Wow. And we're getting our flipper check locations too.
And as you mentioned before, we know the bow can't be on the pedestal, obviously, because you need the bow for Eastern Palace. So the bow is out there somewhere. What else is still missing? I think we've just been starting to find items all of a sudden. It's starting to open up here. We still need No, we got the flute. We can flute to Misery Mire now. And get back to desert that way.
We only need for definite Go Mode. The only thing we need is bow.
Is what? Sorry.
It's bow.
Yeah.
So
we may need boots too, depending on the torches.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. So there's other items that are going to be up in the air, whether or not we may need, i.e. book. We may need the book to get to something, or one of the fetch quest items. But the boots are also a up in the air item. But the hard requirement that we need is bow. We have our master sword. Once we find bow, we are pretty much in. You could call it no mode.
Yeah.
Once we actually get the check on the Desert Palace, which for Bonta needs bow and cane. He's got to get the Hyrule Castle. And the further Thalane gets into Turtle Rock, that's going to be the further away Bonta's getting from his flute to be able to go to Misery Mire. Because bow could be on Pyramid Fairy. Because
I was thinking Pyramid Fairy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of a bittersweet thing, because that is where you get your silver arrows in the vanilla game.
Wouldn't it be funny if both the bow and the silver arrows were in the same location at Pyramid Fairy? That'd be hilarious.
The Kill Ganon package?
Yeah, thank you for visiting me. I'm going to help you in your quest package.
It's dangerous to go alone.
Shoot
him in the face with this.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take a D.
Alright. So, in common fashion, we are able to full clear this. So, I believe an item is going to be on Trinex. We need the map. The map is the one thing we're missing at the moment. So, Thalane knows that the mirror is in... Okay. So, Thalane knows that the mirror is in Eastern Palace. If he gets the bow, does he full clear? He really is. So, does he go ahead and full clear? I would full clear. I would actually full clear. I would not leave anything behind to chance here, because there's no reason to have to come back in here. There's no reason to have to come back into this dungeon. So, if he can just go ahead and get it done with, and Bonta's going to be giving us our Swamp Palace check, which is very useful. Do we get the boots hint? Ooh.
A unique item is in Misery Mire. Is that your boots?
Near Misery Mire.
Oh,
that was near, so it's in the
Mire shed.
The Mire shed, yes.
The boots could be in the Mire shed. Interesting. Or the bow could be in the Mire shed. Or the silver arrow could be in the Mire shed. Or the drugs could be in the Mire shed. The mushroom. There's still lots of things that could be there. So it may be something useful. It may not be something useful. We'll find out.
All right. Well, that is definitely the reason to take the safety door. Even the best of runners do the same thing. And it could also be the bug net. You know what else could also be next to the Misery Mire in the shed?
Say that again?
You know what else could be in the shed next to Misery Mire?
The Cane of Burna? I don't know.
The Vampire Skewer, the single arrow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Bams knew what I was talking about. we were on the same wavelength. All right, the lane is actually going to go ahead and full clear. No answers on Laser Bridge. So we're going to go ahead and get our Trinex kill. So that's going to put them 2 away from being able to do the pedestal pull. Going in with 2 hearts, that's rough. Or 1 heart, excuse me. I can't count today. 2 hearts because of picking this up. I knew there was a reason I said 2.
So Bonta is going to have to bypass the big chest. I think he didn't pick up the big key yet. So continuing on, their next 2 chests, he's going to get her in the waterway, the drain area. Thalane, meanwhile, is in the Trinex fight, going to make sure. And I completely agree with this play. You've already gone all this. Oh no. I was going to say he's already gone all this way. He made his way in here. You might as well finish it off. But now Trinex got the better of him, and he took a death. So he's going to waste a little bit more time trying to get back there. I still agree with finishing it off, though, and not leaving anything to chance here.
I agree. I agree completely. It's way more painful to leave it behind and waste that time if something is here. It's just way more painful. So, but yeah, clearing out Turtle Rock is a very good idea. Now, you want to know what one of my favorite things about commentary is, Cyclone?
Being a witch once in a while?
That's one of them. But one of my major favorite things about being in commentary is that I can always rely on chat to give me the most craziest cooked up schemes about where something could be. Book on pet, shroom on tablet, shovel for shroom, powder buried in the glades, bat gives boots. That is the most convoluted stuff I've ever heard.
Yeah, I love being in the chat for races too, just to come up with some schemes like this too. I don't try to put them all on the air when I'm commentating myself, but when you get schemes like that, it's like, oh, please, let's torture these runners, or no, please, they've had enough. So depending on the kind of race it is, obviously. So it's always fun to see the different theories that chat has in it, though. And I'll be honest with you, Chad, it's seeing that comments like that make this a lot more fun, seeing what kind of ideas we can talk about here that you guys cook up. Always fun to see that. So the lane does get his Trinex kill. Let's see if Trinex was the answer to the puzzle, unless that answer was a red collectible of monetary value. No.
Almost simultaneous money pickups. Thalane gets his blue pendant, while Bonta gets his fourth dungeon kill, 3rd crystal. So the bow, man. Where's this bow?
Well, let's see what's left. He hasn't done all swamp passes. Going back in and do the the west side, I should say. Those 2 chests on the west side. The bow could be over there. The lane is going to do the Smith's chain right now, I believe. The bow could be in there. We've already seen all of Eastern Palace. The flute and the mirror are available to get to Desert Palace and Misery Mire, respectively. The flute or the bow could be in there. There's still lots of places it could be.
And there's one major place I can tell you it won't be. Pod. So
I was going to say the pedestal.
Yeah, the pedestal as well, but pod, there's a lot of items in pod that could be there. The critical thing that I'm thinking could happen, that is a more likely scenario than the convolution that chat likes to say, finding Bo over by Meyer and then getting locked out by Boots, and Boots being in pod. That's a real possibility. So, but the lane's deciding to forego Misery Mire at this moment in time, checking those easy 3 locations, and not even going to get their mirror. They know where the mirror is at, so they're going to go ahead and check and see what's up on the island here, and then get their flipper locations out of the way. I don't blame them. They're probably going to come back and do Eastern Palace after that. Actually,
sorry. Go ahead.
I was thinking they might be going to Ice Palace. I forgot they haven't done their flipper locations.
And lost in the shuffle, the lane did free the swag duck. So for all your travel needs, call 555-BIRD, and he'll come pick you up anytime you need him. As Bonta is now making his way further towards the western side of Swamp Palace. And Still a little bit away here. Quite a long walk to get back there.
Yeah, and so while we do have a moment of waiting for more items to be located here, remember this is a simulcast. There are 3 different restreams happening at this moment. There is right here on Speed Gaming 2 with myself, Unknown Availability, and Cyclone, as well as Bonta finding the powder. There, you like that segue?
Yeah, nice segue.
Yeah. So we also have the Speed Gaming German channel, which is, I'm not going to say it. We also have the Speed Gaming French channel, which is, they are both done in their respective languages. So you would just go to twitch.tv, Speed Gaming, then how you say that language in its native language, and go to those, and you can also watch there. There are the commentary over there. Would you like to go ahead and announce who those are? Because I do not have that list in front of me.
Let me bring those back up because I had them in a different window here.
And Bonta is...
so...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would say Bonta is doing the K45 check. They did not grab the frog or go do the smith chain. So I think they're probably coming up to do that now. But go ahead, Cyclone.
So on Speed Gaming France, we have Aselpio's Rod and Scary Olive, and that's on the Speed Gaming France. And then back on Speed Gaming Dutch, I think is how you say it, is we have People on Tour and Tolly. And meanwhile, Lemmy, and I don't even know if I want to try and say the full name, but Lemmy Lemswerg, I think is how you say it, is our tracker for all 3 of the channels that we're broadcasting on right now. So thank you to him as well. Follow all these people, and needless to say, follow the runners as well. They're doing a great job putting on this race for you. This is a nice little bonus race we're getting. I don't know if it was meant as an end-of-year thing, but it's kind of cool that we're coming up on the end of the year, and we get to see this wonderful event just as a nice celebration of some of the things we've done this year, having this cool little series here that we can look fondly back on some of our really talented runners and the tournaments that they won, and being able to have this fun match against each other just makes it really fun. And also something I should add as well, I know Fiesel's been putting a lot of work into this as well. He's, I think you can say, the owner of the whole network here. And you can notice the different design setups for the 2 screens. He has the French flag set up on the Bonta side, the German flag set up on the lane side, on both the tracker and the game screen. Looks very, very nice, and I wouldn't have thought up this way. Looks really cool, really snazzy, and he puts a lot of work in to get this already too. So give him some thanks if you ever see him as well.
Yeah, and big shout outs to all the Speed Gaming crew, not only the volunteers, which honestly make this go round, but quick update about what we saw. The lane did see that there was just cash above the pose, so we do know that mirror location is not worth it. So and we have found a second shield. So really, other than that, we're still waiting for more checks, but I want to give a great big shout out to the people that not only do the volunteering, but what was that hint? I missed what that was on the lane side.
I didn't catch it either. Hopefully Chad can help us with that, but carry on.
Yeah, so the folks that do a lot more than just the volunteering, but like the organization, and honestly, you, Cyclone, you're one of the folks. There's so many names to name, but all of you make this go around, making sure people are in the right volunteer spots, making sure there's commentary, making sure there's trackers, making sure that these get on the air, so that way we can have this entertainment. The runners, man, the runners. Without the runners, what would we be? We would be sitting here talking about a blank screen. We would be talking about a blank screen. We'd be a
talk show. That's all we'd be.
And who wants to listen to us talk? Nobody. So, but yeah, I mean, in all honesty, like, I am highly. A map requires the hammer. Thank you, Gabe.
Thanks, Gabe.
Wow. So that actually probably is talking about this place. I don't think he's gotten the map yet, but
it might be talking about Turtle Rock as well. I think that is considered as requiring the hammer.
Yeah, because you have to have the hammer to get into Turtle Rock. It also could mean Swamp Palace. So that the map requiring the hammer is a very broad, useless in any fashion of it. So, but and to anybody watching out there, we've got almost 700 viewers going on right now, guys. If y'all want to help please join the Speed Gaming Discord. They're looking for folks. They're always looking for help. They're always looking for people to get more involved. It's fun. It's fun. I enjoy doing it. I mean, I enjoy the people that I work with. Link to the Past is a great community in itself. VTorp and all the other ones. Big shout out to VTorp. Really taking Link to the Past to the next level with everything that he's done, as well as Zarby with the maps, helping out with Inverted and things like that. There's so many names out there I could name, and unfortunately there's not enough time to name all of them. So but undoubtedly one of the best communities I've ever been a part of. And Speed Gaming is not just Link to the Past. It's a lot of tournaments. You've got tournaments for things like Hollow Knight, for things like Ori and the Blind Forest, for Zelda 1 randomizer, Dragon Warrior randomizer. You've got a lot of randomizers. Speed Gaming has really built up on randomizers, but you've also got any percent runs with like Super Metroid, the combo randomizer. The list goes on, and there's an entire schedule out there. If you want to get involved in any of these, and just help Speed Gaming in general, sign up.
And the link, I was going to say as well, the link actually gets posted in the chat periodically during races as well. But before we move on, I just want to note I'm being corrected. There's something I forgot to consider in the hint system. Hints only apply to situations where it's always the same among all the modes. And it's easy to forget, and I keep forgetting that Turtle Rock you can get into without the hammer in inverted mode. You get to the back of Turtle Rock, and it would not be considered to require the hammer. So it may not apply in that kind of circumstance to requiring the hammer. You can actually do all of Turtle Rock without the hammer in that case. So it wouldn't apply to Turtle Rock anymore in that instance. So anyway, just want to note that correction there so I didn't end up leaving incorrect information too late here. I want to make sure that was corrected since I said that earlier. Yeah. Moving on, the lane is still working its way through Ice Palace. I also want to note, I didn't catch it earlier, but Zinpar has left a nice 500-bit donation with the hashtag charity to also support the Twitch cause for direct relief as well. That's the thing that's going on right now around the holiday period. And they do that, I think, every year. So good for Twitch on doing that. And thank you, Thalane, for the donation to Speed Gaming at the same time.
Yeah, so for every 100 bits that you donate, 20 cents of that, which for every bit it's a penny, 20 cents of that is going to go to direct relief. So please hashtag charity on all your bit donations, whether they be here or to your favorite streamers. Please donate to charity. It's a great thing. So we are going to get our cold stare kill, and honestly, Ice Palace has been absolutely empty. So let's see if our answer lies on cold stare. Oh, that's what it was. I finally got to see the actual hint, and a unique item is a mini Moldorm cave.
Thanks, game.
We kind of need that to get here.
I need that unique item. Thanks for the hint. That's what I said earlier in the first race about the quality of the hints may leave something to chance here. Whereas we were talking about that Turtle Rock hint that Delayed found earlier that basically gave him the free pass if the mirror was in Eastern Palace. And obviously the lane will most likely still remember that now. Bonta will have gotten to that hint and said, yeah, I'm aware. I have it in my inventory. Thank you.
Yeah. And the critical thing to note right now, other than, so here's what we have on both runners' side. Bonta has skipped Hyrule Castle, which had the very first chest, which was Canis and Maria. That very well could be Bonta's go mode. Thalane is going to go get his mirror. So that way Thalane can actually flute to Meyer and get those items. We do know that there's a unique item over by Meyer, which means the Meyer Shed. Thalane hasn't gotten that hint yet. Thalane hasn't even turned in their green pendant, so they're going to get their 5 rupees. But, yeah, so right now we're kind of in pseudo like no mode. We don't know what's over there. It could very well be the bow, but we also need the boots. Or well, we possibly need the boots. Possibly, because it is about I don't know the exact chances, but I think it's about anywhere between like 60-40 to 50-50 for one of the keys that you need to be on that torch. So
for Ganon's Tower Big Key Torch, you're talking a 1 in 22, which 1 in 20 is about 5%. So I would think it's about 4.125% or something like that.
I am talking about Desert Palace.
Desert Palace is a lot more possible.
That's the one I'm talking about, because
yeah.
that's the one that's up in the air. Nobody's gone to Desert Palace yet because we didn't have
I'm just-
access until now.
I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I think there's 2 unique items in there that are not dungeon items. There's 1 key, and then there's the normal staple of 3 items. So that's a 1 in 6. That would be a I want to say 16.8% chance.
There are other factors you would have to consider for Desert Palace, because remember that.
Oh yeah, big key can't be on the boss too.
Yeah, so the big key can't be on
20%.
Small key and big key cannot be on the boss. So
and big chest. 1 in 4, 25%.
So it's like the chances keep going up because of what you got to do. So does the lane nope out right now? No. Good call.
He's getting the mirror right now. Yeah.
Good call. Not noping out. Like you want to finish this. This dungeon doesn't take too long. Honestly, as far as now that I think about it, this dungeon does take kind of for the earliest dungeon you get to, other than Hyrule Castle. This dungeon does take a minute. There's really not much you can skip in the form of this dungeon. Like, you have to go through and do, all the steps. Like,
I was gonna say, this dungeon was created by the developers to be the first real dungeon, not counting Hyrule Castle. And as such, it's going to be a very linear dungeon. They didn't want you to be too confused right off the bat as the lane gets this information about the Lost Woods. Thanks, game. So they designed this to be a linear dungeon. They didn't want it to be too difficult for players playing the game casually for the first time. They want anyone to be able to come in and clear it on the first go and feel really good about the fact they did this really well. And then go into the later dungeons later on and have probably more issues there, like in Ice Palace, for example. So this was created to be an easy dungeon, and it is an easy dungeon. So, but it takes a long time to go through the dungeon if something goes wrong too. And for speedrunning, that's an evil of speedrunning.
Yeah, and the NMG runs of this game are definitely very, very interesting. NMG stands for no major glitches for any game. The speed at which people get through this game, man, could you imagine being, however old you were when this game first came out, if you were even alive at that point in time, considering that some people watching may not be.
1991, it would have been 27 years ago.
Oh man, yeah, that would make me 4, so I'm 31. So yeah, I could not imagine.
I'm in my 30s too. I was alive and I can remember. I still remember the NES, to be honest with you. So I'm in my 30s as well. I'm the same way.
Yeah. So I remember playing these games growing up, and like this was one of my favorite games playing growing up. That's why it's an amazing community to be a part of. Now, another thing that the lane has not done to note is the lane has not done Swamp Palace. So this is going to be down to when does Bonta decide to finally check Hyrule Castle and be able to go through and get those flippers. Or not flippers, excuse me.
Cane.
The flute.
Oh, yeah, I thought Hyrule Castle had the cane.
Though Hyrule Castle has the cane, yes. Go to Hyrule Castle to get the cane, to get the flute, is what I'm saying, because the flute was over in the wonderful Turtle Rock Pendant Dungeon. All right, what is it? It is the boots!
The boots!
So that leaves...
That was my call, too, I think.
Yeah, you said boots first. Pedestal is dead. Ped is dead, 100%. There's nothing that could be on Pedestal that is going to lead us anywhere. So bow is pretty much gonna be over here.
Hey, look,
it's over
there's
here.
A bow. Just grab it from the guard. There's a bow right there.
It's right here. And ladies and gentlemen, at 108:45, the lane has entered go mode. Wow.
Checkerboard Cave delivers. The entire Mire area delivers. Wow.
Bonta is making the play. So this is going to come down to Bonta literally going straight to Turtle Rock, getting the flippers, or not flippers, the flute, sorry, other F word, getting the flute and noping out. Like, he has that hint, by the way. And we weren't even boots locked here. So the boots weren't required. At least yet. But he's gonna go.
Bonta stopped and stared at the chest for a second as if to say, no, not again.
Yeah, oh no. Last time it was catfish.
He did this. He did this dungeon so late in the last seed. This was literally the last thing he did before he went up to catfish. And he did this. He went back in the portal, went up to catfish, and he found his what was up at catfish last race. I can't remember now, but he found his go what I'm at catfish boots. It was boots, ironically enough. So he went up and found his catfish, but before that, Hyrule Castle was the last thing he did in front of Hyrule Castle, and he is now doing an hour and 10 minutes into the seed, and he's just realizing, oh no, I got suckered again here. And let's see how quickly he does Hyrule Castle in the next seed. in the first race tomorrow.
Oh man, yeah. And FYI, this is not the end of this best of 5. So we do need 3 wins in order for a clinch, I would so to speak. Thalane right now is in the driver's seat to go ahead and take a second win, but tomorrow at 4 there will be game 3, and if depending on what happens after this, if a game 4 is needed, it will be at 6 Eastern time. So I blinked. Did you see what happened to our land mollusks? Because I don't know what happened to them. They're gone.
Wait, there was something over there?
I think
I just see blowing up a crystal. I don't see anything else.
He walked in and a crystal fell from the sky.
Yeah, I think he walked in. The crystal was already there. I mean, I blinked too. Like, you know.
Yeah. So we the funny thing is that mirror was 100% required. That's 2 pendant dungeons that were a required dip, and the green pendant was not required at all. So this is going to come down to if Bonta finds that flute and decides to go straight to Mire. That's going to be the time save. That's going to put Bonta in the lead. I am not afraid to say that at all, and here's why. Swamp Palace.
Yeah, Swamp Palace is a long dungeon to walk through, but at the same time, the lane is in go mode. He can just go quickly in there. So the question will be, how much time will he save there that Bonta already spent opening up all the chests in Swamp Palace? Bonta made a second trip in. Yeah, so that will cost him a significant amount of time, too.
We'll get a better idea of who we can save.
It's hard to say who's in the lead until we get close to the point that everyone has everything. And I'm saying everyone because sometimes you have those 4-person races too. But it's until you get to the point that everyone involved in a run has everything, it's hard to say who's really leading, because that's the point where it comes down to execution, where you can really say, yes, this person's ahead. But there's that rare situation, like when Bonta had to go looking for the boots last season, you just knew Bonta probably wants to bomb that thing now. Yeah, there's those rare cases where you have something like the boots on catfish, and you knew there was no way he was going to go to catfish for a long time, and you could just say from that, the lane, by the time he picked up the hook shot, it's like, okay, he's in go mode. There's no way Bonta's going to get that thing in time. And if he does, it's some kind of minor miracle. You just know in cases like that. It's not until you get to the point that you have 1 or 2 items left and you know whether they're likely to route those items in anytime soon, where they still have a crystal edge, that you can really say that someone is ahead or behind.
So this is going to be the critical moment right here. What does Bonta do after finding this flute? Because, I mean, at this point, if I was Bonta,
he's going to keep looking for the bow.
I would seriously consider leaving, though. Because, Bonta is doing it.
He might have mirrored and gone back in for all we knew, but yeah, this is a good call on his part. He doesn't know how good a call this is yet. But this is a really good call on his part, because the lane did this in full.
Do you know why Bonta made that call, though? There's a critical reason why.
Go ahead.
The hint that he got.
Yeah.
That hint of there is something that he needs over in Misery Mire area. So he knows that the item is going to be either there's something over there. Go check it real fast. If it's the boots, he's going to be like, okay, that's great. I can go ahead and check the Mire area, and he's going to be in go mode.
And it is the boots. It is the boots too. So
we're going to end up having a Master Sword Silverless Ganon, it looks like, depending on what's in Ganon's tower. So.
And they could just open other chests as they're walking by as well. Like, for example, the lane might still open the Swamp Palace Waterfall Room chest, because it's very close on the way by. So you might have cases where they still open the odd chest. They might find something that the other runner might not pick up. But yeah, otherwise you're right. Master Sword Silver will scan and looking in the cards today.
Waiting for the ability to flute. He knows something important is over at the Mire area.
That was almost instantaneous that he's just heading right over there as quick as he can. And he knows there's something here, and we know it's the boots. It won't be go mode for him, but it will be getting close.
Yeah, and we know that go mode is literally a hop, skip, and a jump over this Mire area.
And I don't see him skipping that.
Yeah, I don't see him skipping it at all. If you're over here, you check that. And bombs first, and boom! Go fast, Bonta. Go
and
fast.
Now it's all business. Now, will he go over to checkerboard before going into Mire? And he's checking the ledge first, it looks like. I don't blame that play at all. Just a piece of heart. He's out of there. Back to the portal, please. Okay, just do Desert Palace first, I guess. Desert Palace, though, would put him right back outside. This might be, if he finishes it. But he's going in the front area. He's probably just checking the front area first. But this is a waste. This is wasting a little bit of time now. This is giving the lane the chance he needs to catch up again. Checking the hint.
We just have to hope that he doesn't forget Checkerboard Cave, because if he forgets Checkerboard Cave, that's going to be unfortunate. I doubt he will.
It has been done though.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Big key. That's what he was after. He's probably. Is he gonna check checkerboard next? Check checkerboard. Check checkerboard. Check checkerboard. That's not checking checkerboard.
Going ahead and doing the rest of Desert Palace isn't bad. He knows one item is on the torch.
That's a crystal.
So,
it's a crystal.
yeah, it's getting it out of the way. Well, he can also finish Mire now too, so he can go ahead and finish Mire.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the distraction of finishing Mire and wanting to do maybe, Pyramid Fairy, and thinking, okay, let's go do Pyramid Fairy. I'm hoping that there's no distraction involved in that. I'm not trying to even put myself at the caliber of these two runners. These two runners are their respective, they were in the tournaments for the French tournament and the German tournament, and they won the tournaments. These are the respective winners. Yeah. So that's huge. Like I ain't no winner. So I'm not putting myself on their level by any means. But forgetting a location is it's not a hard thing to do. There are 216 locations. Sometimes one of them just catfishes you.
Yeah, I like the reference. Thank you. And also at the same time, keep in mind that they're competing in the other tournaments that are going on as well. So this is a normal standard, well, not standard, open. I meant to say standard open, which wouldn't make sense. This is a regular open mode, randomized swords, normal difficulty seed, the kind that you would have seen in these tournaments that they each won. They both use the same kind of seed that they're running right now. Of course, the other tournaments that are going on right now have a expert difficulty and inverted mode, and all these really kooky, wacky things that you have to deal with. And if obviously they were taking part in this tournament as well, and they've had to do different routing for these kinds of things. It's just a matter of getting their routing back in place, and maybe Bonta's. I wouldn't say his routing was bad. He just, as you mentioned, got messed over by one location, or as you say, catfished. In the case of this seed, he got castled.
Yeah, he got randoed. He got randoed. The word randoed is becoming a verb if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
Just the game doing what the game does. There's a lot of skill involved in this that you get over time in playing it. But sometimes, and even the best runners are just like, I get to where I hundo everything, and it's because of me doing things faster that I beat people. And it's like, I don't want to have to hundo everything just once. I want to be able to
checkerboard.
Yes, so he's going to be in go mode at about 1:19:34-ish.
He's going to be so happy he checked this before going to Misery Mire, because this will make... He doesn't have silver arrows, but this will make, nonetheless, the Victory's fight a lot possibly easier just being able to fling arrows across the room and not have to get in there with the sword.
So, why are you fluting? Why are you fluting? What are you doing?
No! Oh, he's
Spooky glitch.
He's going back over to here. Yeah, he's going back over to the portal.
He's setting up spooky action glitch.
What's a spooky action glitch?
Spooky action glitch is the I don't know why it's named that. That I can't describe. However, it is basically whenever you use the flute and you go to the portal, you will use the bird's XY coordinates to be able to not have to go hit the switch. And by the way, you're welcome, chat.
We got a bird toss.
Bonta loves you. Bonta is your friend. On that note, go follow these runners, especially your bird toss and Bonta. So what it does is it allows you to be able to hit the switch in the dark rooms without having to actually go hit the switch. You can use the fire rod and hit one of the anti-fairies, and it hits the switch because it reads that fire as being on the switch. It's I can't describe it any better than that because I don't know all the details, but without a doubt, it's one of the coolest things that was discovered recently. This game has been out for 27 years, and literally...
We're still finding things. I didn't even know what that was. It's the first time I've heard of it.
That is very interesting, Flintlock and Schizophrenic. I did not know that it was a reference to Einstein. That's actually... I love that. That is awesome. So apparently Einstein referred to quantum mechanics as spooky action from a distance. And because of the way that you are actually triggering that switch from a distance, you are causing that to happen. That's really cool. So thalane is heading right on over to pod. So really this is a matter of Bonta finishing up Meyer and getting into over to pod as well. It's thalane ahead, but not by much. There is a interesting thing about Meyer. When a small key is in that chest that Bonta was just at, the big key is always going to be in its vanilla location. So 100%. That is just got to do with the aptly named fish room, the bonefish room, and the way that Meyer lays out with some weird, you could lock yourself out if you use keys wrong, which I still can't even figure out how to do it. I can't even try to do it wrong.
In any case, Bonta is doing the cutscene chest right now in Misery Mire. The lane is in Palace of Darkness. This, by the way, is the last dungeon that the lane needs to do. And Bonta still needs to do Palace of Darkness. So, yeah, the lane is, at this point, I think we can say clearly in the lead.
Now, missed that first arrow, but good recovery on that. So, if the god pod, which I really didn't intend that to come out that way, would be finding the small key right here and the big key right here. Hopefully that's the case. Nope, you gotta go find it. So,
nope.
But
that just seems too easy.
Yeah, finding the big key somewhere close by would be really nice. But the worst case scenario would be if the big key was in the back. Oh, never mind. That's best case scenario.
Well, that's not the worst case scenario.
That's second best case scenario. Boom. And yeah, so pretty soon we're going to be seeing a dead Helmasaur. That fight's not going to go badly at all. So, and Bonta's going to be going to do their Mire.
By the way, only 10 hearts in this seed so far. This is not a very healthy seed compared to the first one.
To be fair, they got safeties all over the place. 10 hearts, red mail, cape. They've got a bottle. They've got powder. Oh well, Bonta has powder. The only thing they don't have is a way to kill things faster. Really, they don't have silvers and they don't have tempered or higher. And Vitreous goes down. Did not use their cape until a little bit later, so that fight took a little bit longer than what Thalane did. But clearing that out, getting his 11th heart. I mean, there's really no advantage to that.
So it's just being asked in chat again. For anyone who's just joining us late, I want to just cover that. We're being asked, are they doing more than this game tonight or any more in the series? This is a series, a best of 5 series. You can look at the bottom of the screen. You can see that the lane has one GG flag lit up with the German flag in the background. If Bonta were to get a point, and I'm not going to show it right now in the middle of the race, but if Bonta were to get a point, it would show a French flag on the other side with the GG in the background. So, or the other way around, the flag in the background, GG in front. So it's a best of 5 series. Whoever gets 3 flags first wins the series. Just a little special series. We don't have any tournament about this. These are 2 champions in their own tournaments. It's just a fun little exhibition series. Something for the viewers to see 2 really talented runners, 2 champions in the respective tournaments go at it in a best of 5 slugfest here. As Lane gets a 10 bomb pack from Helmstar King, and we have a game to play, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a subscriber to the channel, or if you've donated 250 bits or more, you can get your guesses in chat for the Big Key guessing game. If you are watching on YouTube or watching our VOD after the fact, it's a live game we play during our live races. Get your guesses, or you can just play with yourself in this case. For now, let's get the game started. Unknown availability, where do you think that key is today?
I could steal it from you and say 11 immediately, because it's always 11. But
someone was waiting for me in chat to do that.
I usually go 11 as well, and the reason why I go with 11 is because 11's my favorite spot if in the traditional routing, because it puts it in random room, either top left or bottom right. However, for this time, I am gonna say this seat's been too nice. I'm gonna say tile room. I'm gonna go tile room. What and what about you?
Tile room would be evil.
Well, are you sticking with 11, Cyclone? Are you sticking with 11?
It's always 11 because, well, always.
Yes.
Though I would be kind of humored to see it on the torch, because the torch is always a humorous location.
Yeah, the torch would be amusing, especially for those that go right and get trolled by it. But in all honesty, Bonta's not too far behind. Resetting that room real quick. They're going to have to... Yep, you hit the switch again. They're heading to Helmstar right now. Thalane is almost at GT. We will be ending that game as soon as Thalane goes into the Ganon's Tower. I was trying to call it Ganon's Castle. Like
it is in a sense. So yeah, I always try and time it for when you actually see him going in on the stream. So if you're hearing this right now, you only have about 5-10 seconds left to get your guesses in. And we're going to be closing the game when the lane enters Ganon's Tower. So good luck, and let's see where that big key is today. We have a fabulous prize today for the winner, and we'll talk about that fabulous prize after we find the key. So game is going to now be closed, and let's see where it is. Also, I saw pi in chat, and that is not a numeric answer, so I don't think the game will accept that.
Okay, so checking the 2, I think they're called hope chests. I don't know why I know why they're called that. I don't like calling them that. All right, so Thalane last time, I believe, did the typical routing of check the first 2 chests right, go far left, and continue going. And I think, didn't Bonta do what's called the Dark Magician strats last time?
I don't think we saw Dark Magician strats last time, if I remember.
Okay, I was actually I had stepped away at that point.
Yeah, but, there was no key on the right side. They had to go left. And they just kept going left in both cases. So both got to Bob's chest at 14. That's where it was last time. So we're going to find out soon this time, though, because we're at chest location number 8 right now. Torch, I say location because the torch counts as location. And Bonta gets his 7th crystal. He is going to be on the way to Ganon's Tower. This could be a case where I didn't notice there's a key on the right side. If there is, and if Bonta goes full right, this again could make a difference. So we will find out probably in about a couple minutes or so.
And in all honesty, I know some people are pretty rigid with the way they like to do their Ganon Tower routing. If I do a couple of seeds in a row, if one seed gives me a left side key, I usually will change up my routing in the next seed. Just it's a superstition. It's a superstition. No matter this has nothing to do with the weird PRNG thing that doesn't really exist anymore in these. It's just depending on what I get in one seed will make me decide differently in Ganon's Tower. So
here's 10 to 13 right here. 4 locations in Rando Room. Why is it called Rando Room? Because it's only seen in Rando. And just dropping bombs. And the Tempered Sword is there. It turns out the full right could be the correct play today. At the very least, it can lead you to the big key, even going full right from Bob's chest onward, which is where the lane is going to come to next. That will be chest location number 14. Bonta is still a little bit away from getting into Ganon's Tower, unfortunately. So the lane still has a significant lead at this point. Anything can happen, though.
Interestingly enough, the Tempered Sword is actually a really big find. That's going to make Ganon a lot easier.
It does. Where was that again? I didn't catch that.
The Tempered Sword?
Yeah.
Yep, got to go out and come back, Thalane. Tempered Sword was in Rando Room. It's in the bottom right of Rando Room.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant I thought you said Bonta found it for a sec. Yeah, the lane found that. That's correct. I blanked out for a second there.
Yeah. So yeah, finding the Tempered Sword is going to make that a lot easier. We're not going to have to worry about a silverless, a silverless Master Sword Ganon. But that's the thing too. If Bonta goes full right and there's not a sword over there, that's going to leave a Master Sword to a Tempered, and that actually is a pretty big time gap. Very well done for Armos on ice.
Yeah, Armos on ice is.
Oh
hey,
no!
The shovel. The shovel,
oh, no.
The butter sword.
No keys were on the right side.
Oh, I didn't catch that initially. Okay. So yeah, he can't go right. Will he go Dark Magician is the question. Probably not, because
if he does, that's rough. That's rough.
By the way, we found the shovel. Any bets on the shovel on the dig spot being the big key? No, I didn't think so.
So, in the off chance that Bonta does decide to do Dark Magician, that's bad. And the reason behind that is the lane has Gold Sword. Both of those swords are behind going left. That's going to be a severe disadvantage. I mean, Gold Sword, Master Sword to Gold Sword, the gap between Tempered to Gold is not nearly as big as the Master Sword to Tempered.
Interrupt for a sec. That was 18, 19, 20 is the Book of Medora. 21 is a red rupee. It is in Tower Room, ladies and gentlemen.
I was right. I will take my payments in the form of love and gratification. Thank you.
So because we've now opened and seen 21 locations and we know that it is in Tower Room, I'm just going to punch it in right now. We know the big key is in Tower Room. I'm punching it in chat, and we're going to find who our winner is. So the person who guessed Tower Room first was, I'm going to butcher this, Clox2A. That is going to be our winner today. And because it was in Tower Room, your prize today is one of the tiles from Tower Room in digital form. Please enjoy this tile.
And no returns. No refunds.
And I'm trying to see who picked that in the other race, because I recognize the names from the first race. It looks like on one of the other channels, Illuce also picked Tower Room, or at least came closest to it. So, yeah, we have people winning on Tower Room today. It's the guessing game you're seeing in the leaderboard, you're seeing in the chat, is the people who have guessed on all 3 of the channels where this is being broadcast. This Tower Room game is being played, or this guessing game is being played on all 3 channels. So you're seeing the winners from all 3 channels in the guessing game statistics here.
All right. So as we got Thalane going up the gauntlet and Bonta going to be doing their checks that we've already seen from Thalane, like Cyclone was saying, this is being simulcast. So you have the German channel, you have the French channel, as well as here on the English channel, Speed Gaming 2. There are commentators from each of those languages over there for you, as well as another thing to shout out, follow these runners. Bonta on the representing the French, as well as Thalane representing Germany. They are doing an amazing job of providing your entertainment. They deserve your follows, as well as I do want to thank Delvinaris for the Twitch Prime sub. If you do have Amazon Prime, you can actually link that to your Twitch. You get a free sub to any of your favorite streamers, whether it be here at Speed Gaming or anybody for that matter that you want to help support. That is something that goes for free for you just for having Amazon Prime. So I thank everybody for being here today, as well as tomorrow there will be a game 3 100% at 4.
100.
There may be, at this point, depending on what happens, if Bonta somehow pulls an amazing miracle out right now, because the lane does have a sizable lead, game 4 could happen just from knowledge today. But if Bonta wins game 3 tomorrow, if the lane pulls this out and wins the second round today, this is a best of 5. So without a doubt, game 3 tomorrow, 4 if a game 4 is necessary, at 6, and then game 5 will be today is Friday, that means Sunday is going to be game 5 if necessary, right, at 4, correct?
Yeah, and like you said, it will take an incredible miracle at this point. It would probably take the lane's power going out or something like that to give Bonta a chance at this point, because he is far enough behind that it is significant. He is going to, I think, let me just go back here, because I was checking into another channel very quickly here regarding the race. But I see we do the better sort for Bonta now, so he does have all of his weapons. He is on the way to Tower Room right now to get the big key out of there. Mm-hmm. And but he's just too far behind now. I don't see him making this up.
Ooh, I just noticed something. Bonta did not. I'm not seeing. Or no, I'm seeing this correct. Bonta did not go grab the key. Ooh, the lane takes a death.
He does have
one fairy. He does have one key, but so he's gonna have to kill the whatchamacallit, the mini Helmosaur. He didn't grab the extra key, so there's really no time loss in that. But Thalane did have a fairy, so that was fortunate. I missed that they caught that fairy.
Wasn't it in the ball to start with?
No. Oh. No. They fake, I believe they fake powdered.
Oh yeah, that might be the case.
So yeah. At this point, that was an actual death. That would have made this way closer. That would have made this way closer. We are getting some chest checks to see if there's any silvers. I'm interested to know what's in the Muldorm chest. Is the lane going to check that? It's probably worth it at this point to find silvers, because...
By the way, I just want to clarify something, and I'm seeing here, the lane did get the fairy from the Waterfall Fairy. That's where he got the fairy.
Oh, right. I do remember that now. Good call. Whoever said that. That is amazing. And this Muldorm is a joke. With the gold sword, it's a joke. You just dash through, you're good. So, today, I was hoping for Sankart. I'm sad. It wasn't Sankart. But we do have... we're going to find out where silvers are, or we're going to get a possibility of that knowledge. Really, the possibilities... Ped's a possibility, come to think of it.
Yeah, Ped is a possibility for what? Silver Arrow?
Silvers, yes.
Oh my. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It would just say in the light world for Pedestal, but we'll find out for sure in the credits if it's there or not. Keep in mind there were several items that were not checked as well, like the mushroom, obviously, the shovel. They could be silver arrows as well. And we will also get knowledge of that from the credit sequence as well. Correct. So, well, I don't know about the... Does it say for the shovel? Yes, it will. For whenever it goes to... the dig item is actually said whenever it goes into the that wooded area. That is what's in the credit. Okay, cool. I know the credits do have that. I've seen it with the Witch before. I think the Witch has had silver arrows before. I don't remember what it says, but I have seen that. I know the credits do like to do that. I think that's a really nice touch that the that was put in on that as well to have the text changed.
So Thalane had a little bit of a rough Aga 2 there. Those were some pretty odd angles, but gets it down 2-2-0-0-1-1 on that, and we are falling down into the Ganon fight. To be frank, it's not gonna be that difficult. We've got a gold sword Ganon even without silvers. Most runners know how to do silverless, so especially with gold sword, yeah, we're good. And all things considered, you know, with Bonta not having his well done there, yeah, almost having not enough magic to get through that, but with Bonta,
go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was gonna say with Bonta being with Bonta not going to Hyrule Castle when they did and everything like that, you know, Bonta's not far behind. It's about exactly the same distance that was the last game. If you really want to put this down, this is about where he was at.
Silver arrows were in Dark Palace, Palace of Darkness.
Wow. Okay.
So now we know, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, Ganon was feeling a little bit warpy today. I saw about 9 or 10 warps on count, including the required ones on the lane side. Bonta's going to have to face down his side eventually as well. So a bit of a warpy Ganon today.
Yeah, I'm surprised Bonta went. Did Bonta get knocked off by Moldworm, or did they try to hover?
I think he did once. At least he fell once, I believe.
Yeah, I saw the fall. I didn't see if they tried to hover or not. With not seeing the dot done yet, yeah, I would definitely not go for hovers multiple times. Bonta is definitely fully capable of hovering. They were showing that off beforehand.
They were. He is, yeah.
So it's not an easy trick to do by any means. And the lane with the last spin onto Ganon, the big pig, as Bonta is walking in to Aga 2. That's pretty close. It's not the closest we've ever seen, but it's looking around 1:41:59. What is the official SRL?
Time of 1 hour 42 minutes and 0 seconds. That's the official SRL time. And cool seed, right?
Wow. I'd rather drink from the fire hose.
So I know the runners are going to, because we want to give them their chance to check in with the commentators on their language channels, we're going to let them have the interviews on their channels first. And then we're going to go ahead and have them join us here afterwards. That way they can get a chance to chat with each other a little bit as well about the seed. And we can get our time chatting with both of them as well before we wrap up the whole thing. So the lane is going to go over to the German channel and chat with them first. I know the lane said he's going to try and keep it brief over there. Obviously, he doesn't want to keep us waiting for too long here. In the meantime, we're going to finish watching Bonta's run here. And Bonta is on the Gan fight now. Phase 1 underway in a great location. Actually, that's phase 2 now. Was in a great location, but it turned out it wasn't as good as I thought it was. He had to move to sit next to the torch, which actually worked out. I think he got all his hits in.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Nope. Yeah, he did. I thought I saw a bat and I was confused for a second. So phase 2, now we're going to see about 4 warps here.
Yeah, and a few versions.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
After this one, we're going to see 3 warps, and then after that, we're going to see another 2 warps. He's a little warpy today, but go ahead and flip what you're saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, the reason why Cyclone is stating the warps is because we know what the warps are. A few versions ago, it was normalized to where there was no difference in warps. So, 100%, each runner gets the same amount of warps. Same amount of Aga Blue Balls on Aga 1, yep. All that stuff, so...
Yep, I was going to mention the blue balls too. That's exactly the same RNG type thing, and that's exactly what happens. That type of thing is normalized. There's no advantage for anyone now.
And I'm glad they did that. I'm very glad they did that. It made it to where it's just a lot more fair along all races, dailies, and stuff like that. So Just RNG doesn't take as much of a possibility in a game that's fully randomized, you know?
Especially in a case where you have someone who doesn't get a single blue ball on required Aghanim seed, and the other one's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15.
Yeah. Bottle at Dig Spot. That's yeah, come to think of it, we've only found 2 bottles. And Bonta with the final spin slash on Ganon, probably going to be finishing with about a 145, if I had to guess. So
very close. I've already picked up the time as he crosses the line. I'll give it to you here. Official time is exactly what you see on his screen: 1:44:58. 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 58 seconds is his official time. So, and I don't think he thinks this is a cool seed. Not after having to go to Hyrule Castle an hour 10 into the seed to get his Kaya Samara. I don't think he thought that was a cool seed.
I'm going to be 100% honest. For those of you who may not be too familiar with randomizers in general, this is with any randomizer. I don't care if it's Link to the Past. I don't care if it's Z1, which would be Zelda 1, Final Fantasy 4, Dragon Warrior, any of these randomizers. The thing about this is you could be the best player in the world. You could be the #1 player. You could have won 3, 6, 100 tournaments. Rando is going to rando. There's going to be that one time that the routing just is taking you this way, that way. You're following logic. You're following what you want to follow. You make all the right plays, but there's that one item, that one spot that because it was just off into the wild blue yonder somewhere, you're missing that key item to be able to finish the game. So there are some things you can do to circumvent that. In the instance of if Swamp Palace is like a pendant, you can hover over Moldorm 2 and get rid of the need for the hook shot. But otherwise, you're really it's very few and far between that's going to happen. So Rando's gonna rando. Both of these runners are fantastic runners, and they are both tournament winners. Again, Bonta won the French tournament, and Thalane won the German tournament. So neither one of these guys are slouches in this game. They are very good at this game, and in the top group of players every time they play. But without a doubt, GG to both Thalane and Bonta. Keeping it close too. I mean, we were 3 minutes apart. 3 minutes.
Yeah, almost 3 minutes. 2 minutes and 58 seconds to be exact is the difference. And I just see Bonta joining the French channel right now, so I'll just go ahead and take him in there myself so they can start talking. But the lane is still talking on the German channel. So as I said, they will be joining us momentarily, I'm sure. Yeah, that was 2 really interesting seeds, and in a way 2 very evil seeds at the same time, because Bonta literally got you said it earlier, he got randoed. First a catfish, and then Hyrule driver by the castle or something like that. Got with the boots up on catfish, and then the Canis Samari on the 2nd seed in the over in the Hyrule Castle, very first chest in the basement. And you could just see him pausing on that Canis Samari chest, as in, really? And it's moments like that, you just feel that you're seeing, yep, I lost the race. But in reality, it was still a lot closer than that makes it sound. He still had a really close race. It was just a matter of where, in the end, obviously execution would play a role, but the lane did have a little bit of the lead in both cases, just because he had the better routing in the end. He got those locations, out of the way locations in. And sorry?
I'm laughing because Pyrelight liked your Hyrule driver comment. He's just like,
thank you, Pyrelight. I thank you for that.
It cracked me up because the idea of somebody getting pile drivered by a castle is kind of amusing. It's just silly. Oh, man.
Let the wall fall on him.
God. Why did I agree to do this? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Oh man. So I'm
talking to someone who does Count Von Count's voice. I'm telling you.
Exactly, right? I will say, man, like the whole thing about this is, we are joined.
We are.
by Thalane, the winner of the first 2 matches in this best of 5. Thalane, GG to you.
Hello, yo, GG's.
Hey, I've got to give you a lot of credit, man. Your routing was solid both times. I watched the first race and I commentated this one. Very solid routing and ended up playing out very well for you, especially with the first one finding the boots on Catfish. And then, of course, you doing Hyrule Castle early, it played into your favor both times. In all honesty, that's kind of the major difference between the two runs this time around.
Yeah, I talked to Bonta a little bit, like after both races, and with the boots in the first game on Catfish, I got burnt by that so many times that Catfish had like some sort of progression, and I would go and like check Pyramid, then go to Pod, and like never come back for Catfish, and it always has like some major progression item, and I just learned, okay, if you check Pyramid, just go to Catfish. If you have gloves, just do it. No matter, even if you lose like 2 minutes, it's whatever. Just go and do it.
Oh yeah, it's way better than losing what, like 10, 15 because that's the item you need.
Yeah, and it's always hard to say when you will come back to these locations. It's kind of the same for the Game 2 Hyrule Castle, like the front of Hyrule Castle. So people that start with Uncle Early, they tend to never come back to Hyrule Castle, so I'm not doing that anymore, because I got burned by that as well so many times, so I just rather do like Lost Woods